The biggest unknown threat to marine life today is ocean acidification. This is defined as a global scale, long-term decrease in seawater pH that is mostly driven by humans with an increase in atmospheric CO2 emissions. When the ocean pH is reduced, it changes the carbonate saturation state and alters seawater chemical formation. This directly impacts many calcium carbonate organisms by slowing down their calcification rate and has a whole lot of bad implications for their survival of different species. What the fishes? Confused? There's no need. Have a look at it this way. Once upon a time, there was a coral family that lived in a strong calcium carbonate house that had been built over many generations, protecting them from storms and predators, like the evil sea sponge. But everything in their coral paradise began to change when their human neighbours started producing more and more CO2, 30% of which is pumped into their atmosphere is absorbed by the oceans, where it reacts with the seawater and becomes carbonic acid. These emissions were coming from their factories, cars, and energy uses, causing the CO2 emissions to go and rise over 400 ppm. This decrease in ocean pH is expected to impact calcifying organisms such as main reef building coral. So when it came time for the coral children to build their own houses, they found out their calcification rate was reduced by 10 to 50% more than their grandparents. This was due to the carbonic acid stealing the carbonate they needed to build their homes, meaning their growth, strength, and survival rate all decreased. This effect is felt not just by the coral family, but by many marine organisms all around the globe, including Kina and sea snails. For the elder sea snail, their shells were prone to dissolving in the more acidic water, and the younger one's shells were no longer as easy to form or as strong as they once were. By the time the humans noticed the change in their ocean pH measurements, the human population had already become comfortable with the concept of global warming, making it difficult for awareness to be spread. But why is this a global issue, you may ask? Well, 70% of the world is covered by oceans, and coral families provide many ecosystem services to their human neighbours. They create jobs in tourism, fisheries, and provide essential coastal protection. The coral family is also very biologically diverse and creates a shelter for many fish species. Ocean acidification is expected to result in a global reduction of coral calcification by 2065, meaning coral families all will experience large-scale degradation and loss. But it's not all sad news. There are many ways you can help reduce the amount of CO2 being emitted into our atmosphere, including reducing our fossil fuel use, having smarter energy use, reusing products, buying locally grown produce, and the list goes on. Increasing awareness is crucial, and pamphlets could be distributed locally or online outlining the threat. Presentations can also be given by the city councils and organisations which are open to the public.
So, we can all do our bit to help create a happy ending for the coral family.